Welcome to the More Women in Football podcast, brought to you by Juventus and INDIVISA in celebration of International Women's Day. I'm Sirayah-Shiraz, a sports presenter passionate about the game, and today I'm joined by Juventus Women footballer, midfielder Hanna Bennison to talk about her journey, her success, her challenges, and how she aims to inspire the next generation of women in the game. Hanna, thank you so much for joining us. You've had such an incredible and enriching career so far, so I'm excited to deep dive into it with you. We have to start at the beginning. Little Hanna running around, 5 years old. What was it like growing up in Sweden and loving football?
It was really good, I would say. I started quite early and fell in love with the game. I don't remember so much when I was 5, but I remember when I started to play with the boys in school, and I just loved it.
How was it playing with the boys in school? Did you ever feel a bit nervous? Was it just normal for girls to play with boys at that age?
I wouldn't say it was normal because I was the only girl playing. So it was a bit special, but everyone could play, but it was only me that wanted to join. But I didn't think much about it. I just loved playing, so I just, enjoyed playing with the boys.
Well, what's the culture like in Sweden when it comes to football? There's amazing talent from Sweden that we see represented in the national team. But growing up, was it normal for women to like football? Was it normal for you to engage in it, or was it a little bit different?
I think when I was growing up, it was getting developing a lot. So more normal than before maybe. But still not so many girls that wanted to at least be professional. A lot of girls were playing, but maybe not had a dream to become professional. So I would say it has grown a lot since I started, and is still growing so much and just taking steps every day, I feel like.
It's growing massively.
Yeah.
You spoke about when you was 10, 11 years old. What was sort of the shift into this could be a career, going through the academy? What was that next stage of your football life like?
I think, when I was 10, 11, that's when I swapped teams to FC Rosengard. They had a really good academy, and if I wanted to be professional, I think that was a good step in right direction. So I decided to start there, which I think helped me a lot and developed me a lot. But it was, of course, really hard and a lot of sacrifices as well. So not only easy.
Was your family supportive of that journey, or was they I'm not sure about this path for you?
No, they were really supportive, and especially my dad. He was always driving me everywhere to all trainings, watching the trainings, watching games. They were really supportive.
And do you think from when you started growing up through the system, going through the academy in Sweden to now, do you think the attitude towards football's sort of changed? Because now in women's football, Swedish players are taking over the world, and it seems very normalised over there. I'm glad you had a really good experience as well growing up in that sense. But do you feel like there's been a shift, a positive shift, whether that's more investment, more facilities in your country?
Yeah, I think it's really going in the right direction in Sweden. I think, it's very open, and everyone, if you want, you can become a professional footballer. I would say of course there's a lot of things you have to do to get there, but I think there's really good chances to become a great footballer, and I think it's developing still a lot, the academies and also the women's teams and the national teams and everything. But of course Sweden, they were also really good before, and now I think other countries are getting better and investing even more than Sweden do. So I think it's still now it's a hard time for Sweden if they want to keep up with England and the other countries that are really going for it.
Going for it now, especially with the Euros coming up.
Exactly. And that's when I started to think that maybe I always had a dream to go outside to another team in Europe. When it came up, I was excited. Of course it was not clear that I wanted to take the step, but then I started thinking about it a lot, and then after the Olympics I felt okay, I want to try it and try to take the next step to develop even more.
So you went to Everton?
Yeah,
initially.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sweden, UK, two very different places. You sound like you was very confident and excited to explore and leave your home country, but how, in terms of real life, was it? How was the transition? Did you come across with family and friends? How was that entire process?
Yeah, when I moved, it was really hard. First time I moved from home, I was still living at home with my family, so it was a really big step just to move away from them and also to another country. So it was really hard in the beginning, but I moved together with the two Swedes from the same team, which helped a lot, of course, to have like that. Yeah, felt comfortable with them at least. So that was nice, but it took a long time to get into everything and to feel comfortable, just on the pitch and also outside.
And when you reflect on sort of your time at Everton and what you learned there, what do you think were some of the most valuable things as a young woman in football that maybe they don't tell you about, and that you learned about yourself to help you on and off the pitch?
Hard question. I think
so many things.
Yeah, I learned a lot, I would say, and I think it was harder than what I expected it to be honest. And then we also had tough times with Everton, also like a lot of changes of coaches, which didn't help. So it's been a lot of ups and downs in Everton, and also like with playing time and everything for me. So I learned a lot, and I think the most important is to keep going, and keeping your head high, even if it's hard and like it's gonna be bad periods, but try to like learn from that and take what you can, like take the positives out of that. I think it's not so bad to have bad periods because you actually grow a lot from it. But of course, in the moment, it's like hard to think like that. But yeah, I think I growed a lot as a person and as a player, and especially from the bad times, to be honest.
Of course, the WSL is also super competitive, very hard league. New country, change of managers, you're 18. How did you actually, in hindsight, you can look back and reflect and go, I learned a lot. But in terms of being a young woman in a new country, new friends, trying to find your footing, how was that for you mentally? How was you actually dealing with it on a day-to-day basis? I think earlier you said you're not a social media person anyway.
No.
You stay off it.
Yeah, a bit. No, it was hard, I would say, for me. A lot going on around and a lot of thinking. Also when you're alone a lot. It's, a lot of thoughts. And I'm very like, I always want to play, I want to be the best. And if I'm not feeling like I'm doing well, then I struggle a bit. So I think for me, I started to like speak about it with the psychologist in the Sweden national team, and that has helped a lot, to be honest. I think it's really important to like speak about your feelings and just accepting that it can be hard sometimes. Like it's no wrongs with feeling bad sometimes or having struggling a bit. So that has helped me a lot, I would say.
That's so interesting because a lot of players, male or female, national teams club, they actually have their own mental health person to support them because sometimes that's actually not even offered, whether they're in academy in the team. How did you find that process of being in the Sweden national team? A lot of pressure, you're young, very young.
Yeah.
Was you like open to it immediately to like talk about your feelings as a footballer? Because sometimes there's a stigma attached to it, or did it take some adjustment?
Yeah, in the beginning I was not so open, I would say. I was like, no, I can handle it, like it's cool, everything is fine. And I think it was fine in the beginning as well, because then I was not thinking too much, I was just enjoying playing football still. But then when like media comes in, and also when I moved to Everton, a lot of pressure adds on. So I think like it was just becoming more and more every year. And then like in the end, I would say that's when like it got to me, like everything. And it was hard to handle the pressure. And I think mostly the pressure from myself. Like I think I put the highest pressure from myself. So yeah, I think now, like when I've become a little bit older, that's when it really has like getting to me. And now I'm more open as well to speak to like the psychologist, and I think that's really helpful. And I should have done it earlier, I think.
Of course, women supporting women as well in this space, in this sport. Outside of having mental health support, how has it been through the academy, to your point now, and sort of the women's support that you've had around you, your teammates who also can sort of understand what it's like on and off the pitch, the media pressure that sometimes you think you should accept because you're a footballer, but it's very difficult. It's a very unusual situation. How have you found that support from other women in sport?
I think it's been really good with my like teammates around in every team I've been in. Like they've always been really understanding, of course, and helpful and easy to talk to because they understand. They are going through the same feelings. So that's been really helpful. And then like with the media part, it's been a bit harder, I would say. And also because, I started to playing for the first team at a young age. And then like you become really hyped, you know, just like if you score a goal or do something that is good, then you're like, oh, this young talent, and you know, everything.
Burst onto the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think like it was fun and nice that people recognized me, but in some ways also hard because then you feel like you need to do these things like every game, or like, yeah, that you need to be even better. And they were also like, yeah, I feel like I also felt like I had to develop so much and become like so good so fast, but that's not really how it goes, and everyone has a different journey.
The positive parts of social media. Now a lot of women in football are using their platform to speak about issues, get better facilities for themselves, speak up about mental health. How have you found that? Because there's people that you play with that speak out about really important matters, and of course we have to use social media for good as well.
No, I think it's so important, and I think it's good that more and more people are speaking up. I think it's really good, and that's also more what I think social media should be about, and not just like the hate or the bad things, you know. Like actually important things that can change the world, and especially women's football. So I think it's so important.
And when you moved from Sweden to Everton initially, you was excited, it was more of a challenge, it was your first time properly leaving. What was the difference between leaving England to Italy now? Because it's different league, you're in a different place, you've had a few challenges, you've played first team football. What was your mindset moving here?
I think my mindset was like more chill this time, or like I knew a little bit more like what to expect. Like it's not easy to move to a new country, but also when I have lived alone for like 3 years in England, I felt more comfortable with that part as well. So I would say it was like easier coming to Italy than like the first time I moved to England.
And a lot warmer.
Yeah,
and better
the weather
food.
is nice. Yeah, better food and better weather.
And better weather. So now you're in Italy, do you remember like your first few introductions to the club? What was like your first impressions, your first training session? What were some of those nice beginning memories for you?
It was really hot, I remember when I came. Yeah, it was so hot. But very good impressions. Everyone was so welcoming, very open, talking a lot, you know, and like, very inviting. So I really enjoyed it from the first start, but then of course I was also a bit nervous to come here. I remember I was nervous in the trainings as well. You just want to like show yourself and show who you are, and of course be good on the ball and on the pitch. So I was a bit nervous, to be honest.
And you have a few Swedish teammates as well.
Yeah.
You've been quite lucky actually to have a few countrywomen with you wherever you go in your team.
Yeah, and I think it's nice just to have like be able to speak Swedish with someone, and you know, you have like the same routines maybe and everything, so it's really nice to have that support in the team.
And how have you found the Italian league? So you've played in Sweden, you've played in England, now you're in Italy. What do you think are some of the most beautiful things about playing football in this league, and how much they're trying to grow the women's game here?
I think it's like a different way of playing here compared to like England and Sweden.
Okay.
I think in England it's really like physical. Yeah, it is like also technical, of course.
Yeah.
Like it's really good quality in England, but so physical. Like you have to be very good at running and strong. And here I think it's more focus on the technique and like playing, and yeah, it's just a different way of playing. So I think that's something new for me, and I enjoy it and try to adapt and learn, which is fun. And then, yeah, I think the league is growing, getting better, more competitive, which is also good.
Do you have a favourite memory in white and black so far? A match, a goal, an assist?
I think playing Champions League and when we got through to the group stage, when we knocked PSG out,
Yeah.
that was like a really nice feeling. And a good, a great team performance. So I enjoyed that one.
I love that when you hear the Champions League theme song and you're like, this is what I dreamed of when I was a little girl. So it feels like really full circle.
Yeah, so special.
Now this episode is going to be coming out and centred around International Women's Day. And of course, women's football's been built on the back of women. And we're at the forefront of it, whether it's media, on the pitch, off the pitch. Who are some people around Juventus that have been really supporting you on your journey here? And not just that, in your family, in your life. Who are some key figures that have really inspired you, kept you going, supported you in the bad times?
Oof, a lot of people.
Takes a community, takes a village.
Yeah, but of course all of my teammates that I've played with, they have meant a lot in a lot of ways, just like both on and off the pitch. And then coaches that I had from a young age, like when I moved to the academy in Rosengard, I had a really good young female coach that developed me a lot. And then my mom, of course.
Shout out Mumsy.
Yeah, she's never been like playing football, so she doesn't know. Like now she knows a bit more about
she's
football.
She's football mad now.
Yeah,
You've
exactly.
converted her.
Yeah, exactly. But she's always been there supporting, no matter what. Like when I've been sad, angry, happy, always there. So yeah, she's been really helpful for me. And then like one idol or like that I've been looking up to is Caroline Seger.
Oh,
she's like
great
amazing person. Yeah. So I learned a lot from her as well, and got a lot of inspiration from her.
Obviously there's a lot of stuff and support needed from family members and friends off the pitch, but when it comes to getting more women into football, what do you think from your experiences and obviously talking to other women in sport, do you think needs to change? What sort of actions do you think across the board globally do you think this needs to improve in women's football?
I think social media here can help a lot, so just to make more people aware, to get more the interest higher, and then to get more people like starting to play. I think it's hard to say what to do, but just to maybe like we that are already professional can go out and speak more about it as well, and like really try to get more people try to play football, and then like in schools maybe talk about it.
And a lot of what you've just spoken about comes from like education and also having role models.
Yeah.
And seeing that women are doing what you want to achieve. Now you play for your country, Sweden national team. Do you remember your first cap?
He was calling.
Sorry, let me just go and speak to the manager. Sorry.
Exactly. So that was really exciting for me when I got that call. Was
that one of your main targets as a footballer, to represent your country on a national level?
Yeah, that was like my dream, to represent Sweden.
Did you celebrate?
No, so special. I think like they know I've been dreaming about this since I started playing almost. So no, they were just so happy and supportive as always. Very happy.
You don't realise how young you are in the moment, and obviously there's some legends on your team as well, women you've probably grown up watching as well. How were they in welcoming you in that time? Now you're more of a seasoned member of the squad and you can help the other young ones come in, especially because you're very close in age. But how were the women in supporting you and also having an expectation and standard of you so you can hit your best as well?
Yeah. No, I think they were so nice, to be honest. Like, it was a really good environment to come into, like all the staff as well, and of course the players were really welcoming, trying to help as much as they can. And also, like, I played with some in FC Rosengard, so they were also helping a lot when I first got there.
What's it like building up to a big tournament like the Euros? Is it on your mind frequently? But because football's so every day, every week, you're training, you're doing analysis on the opponent. Is it in the back of your mind or is it in the forefront of your mind?
I would say I try to focus like day by day, game by game. But of course, I also have that in mind. Like, I really want to play the Euros and I love to play these tournaments. So it's something that I'm really looking forward to and hope to be in the squad, of course. So for me, it's like I try to do the best every day and to do the best in the games that I can, because then I have a good chance to get to the Euros and play well. So of course, it's always in your mind, I would say.
Obviously, growing up, you've had quite a, I wouldn't say smooth, but you've had quite a nice outlook to football. It's probably been more of an outlet to you to be happy on the pitch and brought so much joy to your life in comparison to maybe other countries and how they view football. What's your advice to some young girls who, they may be from Sweden, they may be from England, they may be from Africa, in terms of wanting to get into the football game? Let's start with like the mental side, the resilience side. Being a young woman in the world is difficult anyways. Adding football and sport, which is a sport that we haven't always been a part of or we've been pushed out from, isn't easy. What would your advice would be to these young girls? It's heavy, I know, deep question.
Yeah, it is. It is. No, like, of course, it's not easy. And Sweden is a pretty, like, they have really accepted women's football, I think, in a good way. But I know it's not at all like that in a lot of other countries. But I would say, like, it's important to still believe and dream. Like, it's so important. And I think if you enjoy what you're doing and love what you're doing, you have all the chances in the world to get where you want to be. But it's just to continue and do, like, I think it's important to do like the extra work outside of maybe team trainings, or if you can't even do the team trainings, like, still work alone, do the extra, to really try and become the best and develop as much as possible.
I mean, you're proof of that, because I don't think you would have thought at the start of your career you would have been at a massive club like Juventus. When you look at your career so far, you've been here since July last year, 2024.
Yeah.
How have you found your time here so far? It's probably gone very quickly.
Yeah, it has. Like, now it feels like I've been here a long time. To be honest.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, we have been through a lot already with the team. But yeah, it feels great, to be honest. I enjoy football and life here in Italy, and I think it was a good move for me.
What's your favourite things about Italy off the pitch?
Off the pitch? Oh,
food.
Food, of course.
Have to.
I have to say that. Yeah, that's like number one. Or also the weather is so nice. Like, when the sun is shining, you're always happy. Or for me,
I'm playing football in the beautiful weather. The facilities at the training ground is beautiful. I just want to go and kick a ball right now.
Exactly.
Would not be as good as you, but I would have loved to go outside and play. What's the best meal you've had in Italy?
Probably pasta carbonara. Yeah.
Different to how we have it in Europe.
Yeah,
like,
very
when you have
different.
the pasta here, it's not the same.
No.
Cheat days.
Huh?
On your cheat day.
Yeah, of course. Always.
I love that. Now, for people wanting to watch Serie A and get into it a lot more, what would you say to them wanting to watch women in Italy play football? What makes us special over here?
But I think the technique, like there's so many technical players here,
Yeah.
like that I didn't know of. So I think it's really fun in that way, and like there's things that's happening that you maybe don't see in other games, like people trying to do like bicycle. What do you say?
Bicycle kick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like things like that, you know. So I think people are really brave here and like to dribble, and I think that's fun to watch.
Entertaining.
Yeah, entertaining. So yeah, I think more people should start watching this league.
What do you hope to achieve over your time at this club? So when you first signed the contract, in your head it was play regularly, obviously, get minutes, become an established member of the squad. But when you see yourself in the black and white kit, what are your thoughts? Like, what do you want to achieve here before you move on or before you end your career?
Yeah, of course, as you say, like play regularly, play a lot of games, get a lot of minutes, and also to develop a lot. And like that's my main focus now, to develop and take steps, both on and off the pitch. Like just grow as a player, and of course I would like to win some trophies with the team, and yeah, just win a lot, and yeah, then we'll see what happens.
I find the most remarkable thing about players is not the things that you do on the pitch, but how much sacrifice and development that you do off the pitch. And I think that separates really good players from the really great players. What are some of the things, when you look forward, you've got a very long career ahead of you, so it's a very far away thought. When you look back on your career, what are some of the things you would like to have a legacy left on the game? Let's start with on the pitch. What sort of style of play, when people think of Hanna, how do you want them to think of you?
I would say a player that, like, you can see that I enjoy playing football. I always want to have the ball on my feet and help the team in the best way. Like a hard-working player, but also sometimes wanting to be creative, like in the offensive part, like just small dribbles or small things. To be creative, yeah.
A creative magician in midfield, tying the game together. You do that already, but that's a beautiful, beautiful thing to want. Now, off the pitch, there's amazing players like Marta, for example. A lot of people reference her. She's trailblazed for women in football. And one thing I like about women's football is people think women just support it. That's not the case. You see young men, dads, everyone's really involved and engaged. What's a legacy that you're passionate about? Are you passionate about mental health? Are you passionate about getting more young women into football? What inspires you so that you can use your platform to contribute towards that in the game?
I would say I'm really passionate about inspiring young players to, become professionals and just playing football. So that's something I want to work more on in the future. Because I think, like, for me, it gives me a lot of energy to see all the young players and, like, maybe meeting them and playing with them, just to try them to, like, keep going and keep dreaming.
International Women's Day. I'm going to ask you two questions here. You've sort of touched on it throughout the conversation, but we'll give them a special moment, highlight, platform. One person at Juventus that has inspired you, helped you, kept you going, can be backroom staff, can be a fan, can be a moment on the pitch, a teammate.
Yeah, I've not been here that long, but I think, of course, all the teammates have been really helpful since start. But actually, like, this is not with football so much, but, like, of course, it helps me to relax and play football, but I don't know what you call her, but she's like helping you sort like with apartments, like everything you need help with.
Like a player liaison.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's been so helpful, to be honest, since the beginning. And it has helped me on the pitch as well, because I can relax outside football and get help outside. And then I can just play football and think about football.
And is there a woman in another sport that really inspires you? What are your other sports that you like watching?
Yeah, good question. Like, I enjoy a lot of other sports.
Yeah.
But it's not like I'm really into
You
like
don't
a
have the
specific.
time. Yeah, as well.
But no, there's a lot of female athletes that have inspired me. But maybe Sara Sjöström, she's a Swedish swimmer. And I think she's really cool. And she has also won a lot of medals in big tournaments. So, yeah, she's inspired me.
And lastly, a message to your fans. There's a lot of young ladies, especially in Sweden, that look at you, your career, your journey, they admire the challenges, the risks you've taken, and they're watching the Italian league going, I can do it too. Hannah's doing it. Hannah's thriving. I can be there. What's your message to them on this International Women's Day to inspire them and let them know that they can do it too?
No, but just keep believing and dreaming. Like, it is possible for everyone if you just believe in it, I think, and put in the work, of course. So keep working hard, dreaming, and most important, to have fun and enjoy what you're doing, because otherwise there's no... It doesn't matter.
Play football with a smile on your face.
Yeah, you should.
I love that. Amazing message. Thank you for joining us in this special episode of More Women in Football podcast, brought to you by Juventus and INDIVISA. A huge thank you firstly to Hanna. Your story is super inspiring and we look forward to seeing what you do with your platform to help the next generation of women in the game. Let's keep supporting the game though and empowering more women to follow the passion for football. See you next time.